What's up, Psych? Today is day 1 of the Killer Podcast. We will be talking about the anatomy of serial killers, also to be referred to as individuals who commit homicide, and more specifically, the parts of their brain. We will focus on answering these questions. 1. What are some structural differences in anatomy in humans who have not been identified as serial killers and those who have not? 2. What areas of the brain have increased and decreased activation in serial killers? I would like to start by saying this podcast will be interactive. I want you to think about the information presented to you and what we have discussed in class and what you have observed in the real world. Hopefully, by the end of this podcast, we will have a special guest, but you have to stay tuned. Now, let's jump right in. So, anatomy, the brain, all the things we love. Serial killers have been found to have some structural differences in their brain compared to those who are not serial killers. What causes this? Is there anything that we can link this to information we have learned? Yes, one primary structural difference is gray matter. The gray matter that is located in the orbital frontal cortex and in the anterior temporal lobes are connected to behavior control and social cognition. As we have previously discussed, parts of the brain that are seen as areas of connection and communication are gray matter. So there's something wrong with the communication going on in parts of their brain that's not really firing, or the processes are not taking place properly. Due to the structural differences in these areas of the brain and serial killers, it has been found in research that the processes of empathy, guilt, fear even are atypical in serial killers. It has been commonly found in multiple research studies that the amygdala is another area of the brain that has decreased activity in serial killers or in individuals who commit heinous and violent crimes. This reduced activity that occurs in the amygdala causes a disruption in emotional processing, social judgment, as well as an increase in aggression. Some research studies even focus on observing the prefrontal and subcortical areas of the brain using PET scans, a form of imaging that we have previously learned about. Why do you think this form of imaging is the best to use in this situation? Think about that. Pause the video if you need to. Fun fact time. Did you know that the average IQ of a serial killer is 95? So between 90 and 100? Okay, guys, I'm a yapper. I'll be back for day 2. What is up, my psychos? Is day 2 of the Killer Podcast. I have some killer information to give you. The questions we will be answering today are: what are some distinct genetic similarities found in individuals who commit heinous crimes? What are some distinct genetic differences in individuals who commit heinous crimes or are serial killers and those who are not and do not? There are 2 gene variances that are associated with extremely violent behaviors, but this is not necessarily linked to serial killers. The MAOA gene variant, or the warrior gene, the RBFOX1 gene, and the CDH13 gene variant are linked to impulsivity, lack of emotional regulation, ADHD, and substance abuse, violence, and aggression. There are also some chromosome abnormalities like Jacobs syndrome and Case syndrome that are linked to violence, arson, and sexual abuse. There are also some important information about heritability of some of these genes in a few articles. Do you remember what heritability is? How can a combination of these gene variants be a recipe for a serial killer? Let me know. So, Professor McIntosh, what is a serial killer?
Well, according to the FBI, a serial killer is someone who kills at least 3 people, but over a period of time with some cooling off between each murder. So that cooling off period might be a few hours or it could be years. So for example, the infamous Jeffrey Dahmer made his first killing 3 weeks after graduating from high school, but it was 7 years later before he started killing again.
What's up? Day 3, and it is officially a vlogcast. Today is all about neurotransmitters and hormones. We know from class that neurotransmitters are the body's chemical messengers. We also know that hormones are secreted from various glands in the body, like the pituitary glands. What we don't know is how they are connected to crime and serial killers. Let me help you out. Let's get into it. Dopamine is a hormone that is known as the happy hormone. I have discovered that levels are correlated with aggression, impulse, violence. Violence is the key here, y'all. There are 3 specific neurotransmitters that have been found to impact violent and aggressive behavior. These behaviors are linked to serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. We have learned a lot about these in class. Something else that we discussed in class is testosterone. Testosterone is related to aggression, especially when there is high levels of it. There's a correlation between increased likelihood of criminal behavior to low levels of serotonin and high levels of testosterone. I can go on and on, but this is just the basics. What have you learned from this vlogcast? Okay, y'all, that's a wrap.